Grid Life events are just a massive family. Whether it's Grid Life Touring Cup, Time Attack, HPDE, or anything else, the guys all come together to have a good time. Well, tonight there's 60 of them here about to have a fantastic time at Watkins Glen International here in upstate New York. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney DeCuna from SimTV this evening. Welcome to Watkins Glen International, a 3.4-mile circuit with 11 turns, over 100 feet of elevation change. Tonight we race two 20-minute long events with GT3 and TCR machines. Finian, I am so excited for tonight's events. This is going to be one of the most populated, most chaotic, and most wild GT races we've ever done on SimTV.
Yeah, no, it's honestly nuts. They actually, I think that if they could, they probably should have added more pit stalls to this place for these guys to get on, because there's no way anyone else can join it now. The pits, all of them have been taken up. So we have 60 cars in the server right now. If I'm not mistaken, I believe about 40 GT3 cars and about 20 TCR cars. So pretty large amount of cars in both fields, and it should be a heck of a race.
So Watkins Glen International, we know it, we love it. You've been there, I've been there. It's one of the greatest racetracks in the country. It's flowing, it's fast. It's the perfect playground for GT3 machinery, cars that are basically made for gentleman drivers. They've got about 500 horsepower, give or take. They got a lot of downforce, but they're also not necessarily super light, but they're not super heavy either. They're kind of a nice middle ground GT car, but the variation between cars. We have Mercedes AMG, McLaren MP412C, BMW Z4, Audi R8, and more. The Ferrari 488. There's incredible diversity in this category. Front engine, mid-engine. I wish we had the Porsche so it would be a rear engine, but these cars are spectacular. We're looking at Tom O'Gorman choosing Mercedes tonight. Interesting choice for Tom, but great car diversity in this category.
Yeah, and arguably the Mercedes too, one of the more dominant cars in the category. Although looking at the list, actually on top in second place is a BMW driven by Ken Seal in second place. Austin Cobb in the 27. Not sure what car he is in. I also know Alex Barroso too. He's also in a BMW. So the I think the only two BMWs in the field are second and third.
So tonight we got slightly updated ticker software this evening. So some new graphics, and new graphic adjustments. I wanted to have the car information, like whether it was a Ford or a Mercedes or whatever. That had some bugs and features I couldn't quite get working, so hoping to have that for next week. But your classes on the left-hand side of the screen, of course, the top, the teal, that is your GT3 machinery. The bottom is the purple, that is your TCR machinery. Now, Finian, TCR, this is a great car class. Explain it to me.
Yeah, fantastic car class. These guys, front engine layout, front engine layout, front wheel drive layout for these guys. Only other car in the service that has the Kia Optima, and this is, a emerging class of car. The TCR car is also the Honda Civic that Tom O'Gorman drove last year in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. And so currently have the Audi RS3 is pretty much what all these guys have to work with for tonight, and it should be pretty interesting. The main thing that I think a lot of guys, you can see Rasmussen struggle with too, is these guys are going to be sliding around quite a bit on the opening laps. Is really struggling to get heat in these tires. It's been a big thing for these guys, and it should make it interesting to watch all 20 of them try to slug it out.
So in the Michelin Pilot Challenge at IMSA, the TCR cars run alongside GT4 cars, which are essentially, for all intents and purposes, basically D2 GT3s. They're not. I know that's not what they actually are, but they're slower GT3s. Yeah. So in that category, at the smaller racetracks, they actually have trouble kind of differentiating between the cars, because the TCR cars have a ton of downforce. They're really quick through the corners. They're also not super heavy either. So these things corner really well. They only have about 325 to 350 horsepower, depending on the car. So you kind of end up having a bigger class split when you do TCR and GT3, but I think tonight the first 10 laps are going to be nice and calm. After that, it's going to get a little chaotic if the GT3s have enough time to get to the tail end of the TCR field. You mentioned about 40 GT3s here and 19 TCR this evening.
Yeah, and looking at the times too, so the fastest TCR is Jeffrey Royan, and the 158. The fastest GT3 is a 144, so we're looking at about a 14-second lap difference.
That's significant.
Yeah, which makes sense, because obviously this is very much, you need a lot of top speed at this track to really go fast with the straightaways, so not too surprising that there's a huge difference. So we'll see if these guys, and we were kind of talking about that too, we got two 20-minute races slated for tonight, so that will be kind of interesting to see. That might be enough then to get more towards the back end of, I think, the TCR field for the GT3 traffic, and that's going to bring up an interesting thing, as all 40 of the guys are going to be racing through traffic.
So Peter Zhang in the number 55 is going to come around turn 10 and into turn 11. to complete his qualifying laps, and his best time is a 2:01.802. Not going to beat it this time through. But with 15 seconds left, the drivers on pole for each category, it looks like it's going to be Austin Cobb in the 27 in GT3, and it'll be Jeff Arroyan in the number 233. That is the TCR pole sitter. And of course, your ticker structure for tonight, top 10 on the class ticker, and then overall we'll scroll through every couple minutes to give you an idea of what's going on outside of those top 10 in each category. Time to go racing tonight. 20 minutes here from Watkins Glen International. Let's take a look at our track conditions for this evening. How about 71 in the air, 82 on the racetrack, Finney, and mostly cloudy skies. 5:46 in the morning, bright and early here.
Yeah, actually, it just reset to 74 degrees on the track, so even cooler. Yeah, and it's really early in the. Actually, does not look like the morning.
5:46 local time. That's what it's telling me, but could be. It's not PM. I know that.
Yeah, no, it looks really bright for 5.
It does. I have to take a look at the sim time. I have heard issues that maybe this time doesn't exactly correlate, but whatever. It's fine. It's 74 degrees is all that really matters, other than maybe the racket keeping up the local neighbors. But again, 20 minutes. If this race goes on the pace we expect it to, it'll be about 12 laps. So I'm kind of curious to see if we're going to get into lap traffic. You mentioned 14 seconds a lap times 12. That should be enough to get into some lap traffic for sure. So look at the size of this field. My computer is going to be crying tears on the start of this race. I'm hoping that the classes separate out a little bit. I guess we should start rolling through our starting lineup because we got a lot of cars to get through.
Yes, we do.
Here we go on the front row tonight. Austin Cobb in the number 27 Mercedes-AMG GT3, right alongside Ken House-Seal in the number 23 BMW Z4 GT3.
And then moving on back into second place, we got Alex Barroso, and I think what should be the only other BMW in the field, next to Nicholas Johnson in Ferrari in the 53 car.
Next row back, it's going to be the number 155 of Paul Darling, starting alongside Tom O'Gorman, trading the Audi keys for the Mercedes ones tonight. And he'll start off alongside Darling in the 155.
Moving on right in behind them, Chris Deschamps going to be starting in Ferrari, and the 7 car next to him, DJ Allison Dream, will be the first Audi towards the front of the field in the 24.
Jacob Price in the 02, another Mercedes-AMG tonight. Bob Dice, another Mercedes Cup out there GT3 tonight in the number 35.
Yeah, it's actually a fairly decent spread for the most part, not really towards the front of the field. Eric Coutil going to be starting right behind those guys in the 82 next to Luke McGrew, both those drivers in Mercedes.
Next row on back is going to be Stephen Cugliari in the number 51, Mercedes-AMG. Jeremy Swenson in the 34, picking up Audi keys this weekend in exchange of his normal Corvette. He'll roll off alongside the previous driver.
Matt Lennon, I believe that's how that's said, in the 46 car next to Andrew Abbott in the 25.
Nick Nelson in the 16, another Mercedes. Val Di Pietro in the Audi R8. I feel like for some reason the outside row loves to have the Audis in it. The inside likes to have the Mercedes. Next row back, Vinny, who we got?
We got Edo Waxman in the 22 Mercedes, and next to him, Brandon Abbott also in a Mercedes in the 49. I promise you there's some more cars further down the order.
Bob Casera in the number 2 Audi R8 LMS. Kobe Shield in the 60, the Mercedes-AMG GT3. Maybe we'll just let the rest of these scroll on through. There's a lot of cars. It might be wise to relinquish that and just let it roll on through automatically. But one last look at our conditions before we go green. Again, nothing's changed. 71 in the air, 74 on the racetrack, mostly cloudy, and into the bus stop, Finney. And talk to me about this place.
Yeah, I would say it's probably one of pretty much your favorite part of this racetrack. Unfortunately, not the newer version of this, so where you got massive curves these guys can drop. I'm sure they're probably a little bit happy with that though, because they can ride all over these curves to this section, and it's going to be very much a rhythm section, especially in the opening laps. It's going to be very chaotic. Some guys going side by side through there, and you could potentially see a lot of danger spots and a lot of guys getting caught up into some trouble.
Then we head into the carousel, a sweeping right-hand corner that leads into turn number 6. A very challenging downhill left. We're looking off the nose at Jeremy Swenson here. This is a very misleading corner. You kind of enter, it's a little bit off camber, and you kind of enter. You don't stay all the way to driver's right here. It's very what's the word I'm looking for? Untraditional. You kind of stay towards the center. You pull it down to a late apex onto the back straightaway here, heading towards the toe of the boot, Finian. A very tight, very steep uphill climb.
Also of note too, going through on the bottom of the screen is your TCR starting order. This is second row on back from those guys, and you can see how many GT3. This is pretty much already a full field of cars coming through here. 30 some odd GT3 cars, and then I think slowly in picture there come your whole Audi TCR field.
Yeah, I gotta find the leader because. Thank you. Well, I was looking for the GT3 leader because I got to pick him up for the start of the race here shortly. Paul Darling. I don't remember who got pulled. No, it was Austin Cobb in the 27. Here he was. And the Mercedes out front is in control of this field. And we look down from the sky. You can see kind of the middle of the top of your screen, the pace car coming out of turn number 9. And then look at all the way back towards the toe of the boot. There are still cars streaming in. There's a whole lot of race cars out here. I'm so excited to get this underway. Grid Life iRacers GT Sprints tonight. And 60 cars strong as the field rolls through. Austin Cobb in control in the number 27 car. Remember, there's probably going to be some layering off in the back. We're not going to focus on the crashes. We only have 20 minutes. We're going to focus on the good stuff. Here we go. 60 cars, Grid Life iRacers, touring car sprints. Time to go racing. 20 minutes on the board from Watkins Glen International. Green flag flies as we're racing at the Glen.
Johnson being aggressive along the BMWs in the front was trying to take away. Sorry, he's going to pinch. They're going to go side by side through turns 1 as everyone else gets spread out.
Up the S's. Front 2 are single file behind them for 4th. It's a battle side by side as they climb the hill. Car off, slamming into the barriers. And I can't see who that was. I think it was the 35 car.
Yeah, and then going on back to our Audi TCR field is also coming.
Oh, big crash at the top of the S's.
No.
I think we've got most of them cleared out now as we head into the bus stop for the first time. Everyone tiptoeing on through. Another car off, slipping and sliding in the background. Let's head to the TCR field. They climbing the S's already. Jeff Arroyan out front. Carwile second. Casera, Lupford, Adams, and Hagford, your top 6.
Yeah, all these guys getting strung out and being close together. And I think for these guys, especially, the draft is going to be extremely important for these guys. A few guys smoking off in the back, but more or less good.
Into the bus stop now for the first time. And a nice, clean, and orderly start for the TCR field. Now back to the front of the GT3 field. Cobb still got it. Houseel now to second. And the number 23, that Z4. Let's talk about the Z4. This is an older GT3 car, Finney, but it's got a lot of grunt in that V8 motor, but it's surprisingly good in the corners.
Yeah, it really is, and I mean, we have, again, the only 2 of them toward the front of the field, and they've done a fantastic job of getting this car up there. And I think this is definitely an underrated car out of all the GT3 cars.
Off of the right in front of DJ Alessandrini, and Alessandrini's collected, and both are front runner drivers.
Whoa, and a
more
Mercedes
cars
in the background, and it's absolute turmoil in the final 2 corners.
Yep.
I think Alessandrini might be kind of all right with the engine in the back of that thing.
Yep.
The front is definitely not looking good, but
no, it's pretty torn up. That's going to be some severe damage for Alessandrini. He had nowhere to go with Houseel in the middle of the racetrack. He's got Jacob Price in the 0-2 following him up the S's. Bit of a tap there to the rear bumper as they climb the hill.
Yeah, definitely the Mercedes is going to come alive, especially with Alessandrini with the damage he had. Here comes Price sitting outside now.
Drag race down the back straightaway. You see Cobb way up the road all by himself now. A little bit of room to race. Into the bus stop. Price has a lot more straightaway speed with less damage. And into the bus stop, there's Luke McGrew. And how about Swenson in the 34 chasing Matt Lemon in the 46?
And also further down there is Brendan Abbott as well as Will Waxman as well as Joseph Dale. 15, 16, and 17 in class.
Oh, late on the brakes. That's Edo Waxman in 16th place.
Oh, and Audi's spinning in the background as well on the boot, and some more carnage here. Whoa, watch out.
Oh, man, they're just going to get more and more cars collected in this as they try to get spun back around. The interesting question is, where is our TCR leader? It's Jeff Arroyan in the 233. He's currently in the bus stop.
And notice how little space there is. There's one Audi trying to blend in with the TCR field. That's an R8 amongst the RS3s. I'm not sure who that is, but they're trying to get themselves, I believe they started from the pits, and are trying to get through the TCR field and move themselves back up into the GT. Trying to get back up. There's Bob Casera in the 2.
Yeah, it's Bob Casera in the number 2. There's a slow car. That's John Nichols just trying to get rolling again after his spin down in turn number 6. Up front, though, in GT3, Austin Cobb continues to lead. How about Barroso in 2nd place now? A driver that used to run all the time in the Grid Life iRacers group last year. We haven't seen quite as much of him this season, but Paul Darling in the 155, always a threat to win these races, sitting 3rd right now.
Beautiful Mercedes. He's got his name across the hood, across the
banner, windshield.
That's
the word you're looking for.
Yeah, and chasing down the BMW.
Whoa! Kevin Zhu going for a bit of a ride in the heel of the boot. And Denny Hagford, Max Lupfer. How about this three-way battle?
Whoa! And already a car in the grass. That is, I believe,
Pennington in the 3.
No, that is Lupfer.
Lupfer in the 688. We're right on board here.
Sitting behind Hagford and Adams, currently running in 6th place.
Onto the front straightaway again, working lap number 3 of what will be about 12 laps, 15 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Lupfer takes a look to the inside of Hagford down in turn 1. ABS enabled on these cars. Contact. Hagford goes for a slide. Front wheel drive, mash the throttle, save it.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about these things. These guys can hit each other, punch each other off the track, and you pretty much just have to, as you were saying, just put your foot to the floor and slide out of it. Looking now at the 54 of Sheldon Blackstock.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting...
Oh,
you see a car behind him. That is Ramachandran Managaran in the 43. He's gone for a loop. So Blackstock and Tom O'Gorman have chosen GT3 cars tonight.
And both Mercedes.
And both Mercedes. I don't know where Tom is at the moment. I don't see him on the timing and scoring. Looks like he has had a collision. He's down in 54th overall. But his co-driver in the LA Honda World TCR car, currently 19th in class.
Started 60th?
I'm not sure if that is accurate or not. Looks like it might be. Might have started at the tail, or at least started in 60th. Didn't qualify, but he started at the tail of his group.
That makes sense.
Brandon Abbott, 20th to 15th. Good climb forward for him. How about Jackson Robillard? He's had an issue in the 98, and he'll call it a night. Alessandrini still rolling in 7th place.
Yeah. He's fallen a few spots. He's also allowed Eric Coutil to get around him. Again, he's just kind of, I think Alessandrini, he's got enough pace to really stick up here, potentially in the top 10. I don't see him gaining any more spots unless other people ahead of him wreck, as Eric Coutil is getting sideways in that Mercedes.
And 11th to 6th for Coutil. This is a bit different than his EG Civic, wouldn't you say? A little bit more torque.
Well, definitely is still, I guess, carrying Japan on that car. That's a Super GT paint scheme.
And right up in front of them, that's Chris DeShong, Jacob Price. And Price in the 0-2 has been fairly competitive so far tonight. And he started in 9th in class, now up to 5th. Only 7/10 between Jeff Arroyon and Ryan Carwile. Those are your TCR category leaders. How about Rob Casera down the inside, late on the brakes? He'll take 2nd place away.
But now he's going to try to set his sights on Jeffrey Arroyon. Arroyon's starting to break away from everyone else, and these two guys trying to chase him back down. It pretty much is a top 3 breakaway in the class, so you can see everyone else, the rest of the TCR field falling in behind.
Yeah, the TCRs naturally like to race close together, but they don't have an enormous draft. So for guys like Casera and Carwile, they should probably be focused on not racing each other super hard if they want to catch Jeff Arroyon, because the draft will not keep them right next to them. They have to really outdrive the 233. But Casera, big dive in the bus stop, was able to grab some time there. Alessandrini lost another spot. Oh no, he's back in 7th. Luke LeGroux chasing him down in the number 28. He messaged me earlier today. He hasn't had a whole lot of practice in this.
Well, it doesn't look like him. He's running 8th out of 30 some odd cars. That's really good considering he hasn't had a whole lot of practice.
Yeah, and again, this kind of a stealthy black paint scheme looks a lot like his Vopper.
I'm guessing that's exactly what he was going for. And I mean, if anything, this is probably the closest feel out of all the GT3 cars to his Viper.
Yep, take a look. There's the inside of DJ Alessandrini. DJ hurting with the wing damage. Oh, that's a shallow line into the bus stop. He'll take it over the curbs. The suspension on the Mercedes soaking up bumps nicely. He'll take that spot away. So Luke...
Whoa, and already catching some TCR traffic.
Yep, it's 55 car, I believe. So McGrew and Swenson, some of the time attack drivers, are split between Eric Coutil and DJ Alessandrini, some of the GLTC drivers. So always good to see the Grid Life folks getting out here from all levels of the organization. But 8th place battle in TCR. How about Kevin Zhu and Andrew Rasmussen? This is for 8th, the 17 and the 62.
And already kind of separate out a little bit. Andrew Rasmussen trying to chase down Kevin Zhu up ahead. And Zhu, we saw right into trouble, and you can see Rasmussen sliding through the final 2 corners, is able to keep that thing going straight.
He's really hanging on. So let's get an idea of the speed difference between these cars. Look at the speed climbing up on the front straightaway. 120, probably 130 miles an hour on this particular straightaway. Then down onto the brakes, down to about 4th gear for turn 1, and throttle right back up. Now let's jump back to Luke McGrew in the number 28 Mercedes and get the same straightaway. And how much more speed this thing will gather by the end. 130 now before the start-finish line, 140. Probably see close to 150. 151 before the braking zone, down to 3rd gear for turn 1. And Al Sandrini still hounding him even with that damage on his car.
I think he's just trying to use Luke as, I guess, for a bit of draft to kind of carry him down the straight. I think that's really where Al Sandrini's hurting right now. With the amount of aero damage to that car. Back up front, we got Paul Darling in behind some TCR traffic trying to get by, as well as Alex Barroso on the outside of that BMW.
That was the 6 car. That's the number 6 TCR being driven by Brandon Burke. And Barroso trying to work over Paul Darling, and they've lost 2.7 seconds to Austin Cobb. But Darling and Barroso still very much battling for that second position in GT3.
Yeah, unfortunately they're going to have to start getting closer to the front here because Austin Cobb's put a 3-second gap back in these two.
And it's 4 seconds back to Chris DeShong, and then it's Jacob Price 2/10 behind that. Ferrari and the Mercedes fighting for 5th. Make that 4th, rather.
Decent battle going on for 10th place with Kobe Shield leading over
Stephen Cugliari in the 51. That's a Mercedes versus Mercedes. And how about Val Di Pietro in the Audi R8 LMS riding in behind? How about this battle?
He's kind of sitting in behind waiting to make his move.
And lots of room being given, so Cugliari will take that spot away, puts him in 10th. Shield drops to 11. Di Pietro still in 12th for now. And runs a little wide, rejoining the NASCAR short course. And now lap traffic. Let's just stay on board with Di Pietro as they navigate some. We'll jump up to Kobe Shield here and just ride on board as we negotiate some of the TCR field.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you guys want to catch these cars on the straightaway because you were talking about, you know, the difference in corner speed. The Audi's not too terribly, the RS3s, I should say, are not too terribly slow compared to these guys. They can carry a decent amount of speed, so that kind of holds them up.
You know what's interesting is that these are actually very well-matched cars for a class split, I think.
Yeah.
They're not, the TCR isn't too slow, nor is it too fast to be matched nicely with the GT3s. Just the brakes are the scary thing because the GT3s are so much more powerful on the brakes and can get slowed down so much better than the TCR cars can. Now, Darling still holding off Barroso, but they have actually eaten into Cobb's lead as he's in the thick of TCR traffic right now. Look at this, 3 wide.
And
whoa!
GT3 traffic as well.
Yep. That's the
that's
94.
actually,
that's Tom O'Gorman.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that is O'Gorman right ahead of them.
And he's had kind of an abysmal start to this one.
And there you can see Barroso. Oh, and it looks like he's fighting with Darling now as they're both working through traffic and having some internet issues.
Yep. I thought that was me for a second, but I don't think it is. Chris DeShong in the 7 trying to hold off Jacob Price still. This is still for 4th now. And Luke McGrew and Al Sandrini still separated by half a second. Let's jump back up to 2nd, Darling and Barroso.
Yeah, really starting to eat into that lead, although now it's probably going to expand a little bit more because these guys still got a few TCR cars to work through until they're clean.
Now, speaking of TCR, let's go back to the TCR lead because it's right here. Arroyo and Casera Carwile. It was a 1.5 second lead. Now it's down to half a second, and Casera's closing that gap.
Yeah, whoa, and there's the Ferrari and the Mercedes coming out of the background. They're going to interrupt this battle for a little bit.
That's DeShong and Price. Right into the middle of the lead TCR battle they will go. On the brakes, we'll separate 1st and 2nd for a split moment. And up the hill.
And so far so good. Looks like these guys are doing a solid job.
I'm very impressed. This is a small amount of carnage compared to what could happen.
Yeah, especially we haven't seen any really incidents, I think, between the classes, which is good to see.
And for 2nd, again, Darling and Barroso. Look at how much better Darling gets through the bus stop in this Mercedes compared to Barroso's Z4. I find that the Mercedes is a little bit better over curbs and bumps. The Z4 seems to do a bit better on the smoother racetracks. The Watkins Glen's not bumpy, per se, but the curbs and the bus stop will certainly upset the Z4 more than it will the Mercedes. So into the toe of the boot again. There's a big gap from 3rd back to 4th, and you see DeShong and Price still fighting. Then Eric Catil trying to close in on that group.
Yeah, TCR leaders right in behind them, and then slowly further back is Luke McGrew and Al Sandrini.
6 minutes left in this race. Arroyo, Casera, Carwile, Lupfer. Your top 4 in TCR. Really, it's only the top 3 that we'll see competing for the victory. And I mentioned earlier that the TCR cars, they like to race close together. They kind of naturally follow each other very nicely. The GT3s are not quite that easy. They have a little bit more aero push, a little bit more aero wash. You have to be kind of cognizant of that when you're following someone so close.
Yeah, I think also, too, the fact that there's so many different cars, I think also leads into it quite a bit. And there you see Luke McGrew going on by.
And DJ Al Sandrini with the all the damage that he's sustained on that car. I don't know if the steering wheel's still straight on that car, but if it isn't, he's been doing a great job.
Let's try to find out. Right inside the Audi R8. It looks pretty straight.
It might be a little bit kinked to one side, but looks like it might be a little off to the left. But he's still doing a great job considering he's missing a whole lot of straightaway speed in this car as well. Dragging a wheel off course at exit. Cobb has a lead, Finian, but it's dwindling. It's 1.9 seconds. Darling has closed that gap, and last time was 0.2 quicker. I'm not sure that that's enough, though.
Well, he's starting to break away from Barroso, and then also Darling's too has got to worry about Tom O'Gorman up ahead, although I imagine O'Gorman will give him an easy time getting on by.
Ken House Seal, after his crash on the opening lap, he sits 24th in class.
And I'm sure he's going to definitely be disappointed as to what could have been obviously qualifying up in second. The guy who's running with Barroso, the other BMW, is currently running in third, so he could have had a solid time for a run, but that mistake cost him a lot.
Gonna dive up the inside for turn number 1. That is a lap down car, I believe. That's 25, being driven tonight by Andrew Abbott. And Kobe Shield and Shelby Blackstock, these guys have been racing each other quite a bit, and I do see some front-end damage on that 54. That's that red and white Mercedes, so Blackstock has had his nose up the rear of somebody, and I don't think it's the drivers he was racing, so this might have come a little bit earlier in the race.
Well, it doesn't seem to be hurting him too much. He works on by the TCR traffic, but still got Kobe Shield right behind him.
You see his previous lap was a 148.8 compared to his best lap of a 145.4. Shows you how much you can get slowed up by navigating traffic.
Leaders right now, all the guys that are clear of the traffic, all running 144s.
Yeah, so Cobb, for example, 144, or excuse me, well, minute 44.088, which is 116.2 miles an hour average. That was his previous lap. His best is a 43.9. I can personally attest that is a wicked quick lap time around here in a GT3 car. And actually quickly approaching GTE times. Now I know that we're running relatively cool temperatures. That is helping that situation. We jump back to TCR lead again. Aroyan has kept this gap relatively constant. Casera's having trouble making up that last 0.8 of a second.
I think what also has been helping too is situations like this where the GT3 traffic kind of gets in between the middle of them. And depending on where they find that traffic, it's kind of helping and also hurting at the same time, although it looks like he's got a run this time on Aroyan down the straightaway.
And these cars, oh, his car off in the bus stop there. Let's see who that was, but these TCR cars, they love jumping curbs. Once you get the tires warmed up and you won't blow a tire on them anymore. You can sail them through and jump curbs 5 feet high. I don't care. You can ramp off them like Grand Theft Auto. They love eating curbs, and it makes the bus stop a whole lot of fun.
These things are pretty much like
tanks. Car off again. Same car. The Mercedes. It's the 22. No! Second place Casera. Big damage on his nose.
Ah, man. I was hoping we'd be able to avoid that, but unfortunately got it all. Oh, I wonder if he actually, the reason why he didn't move out to avoid, I think he might have been passed by that Ferrari on the outside.
Yeah, it could be. It was the 22 that was being driven by Ido Waxman, and that is going to severely damage the nose of that number 1 of Casera. Now, that being said, I haven't seen the front ends of these cars be super aerosensitive with damage. They've been pretty resilient, but I'm not sure that it'll be a race-winning car from here on out.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough to do, especially when he's got Ryan Carwell right in behind him waiting to take away that second spot.
Other TCR battles are not quite so close, so we're not going to take you there. We only have 1 minute and 58 seconds left. That means next time by will be white flag for our GT3 leader. And where is Austin Cobb? He's working his way through the carousel right now. For second, though, getting hot again. Barroso still working over Paul Darling.
And his gap's expanded back up to 3 seconds, so these guys pretty much fighting amongst themselves, I think, at this point.
Stephen Cugliari in the 51 has gone around. He actually just entered pit lane, so I think he just stopped.
Yeah.
Not sure what's up with that, but...
oh, I wonder if he, you know what?
Maybe he didn't fuel enough.
Yeah, these guys are running open setups. I think he cut it close, cut it a bit too short.
For second.
Yeah. Speaking of close, this battle's really close between Darling and Barroso. Barroso with the run, going to go to the outside now into the next corner.
I like this maneuver. This is into the heel of the boot. It's hard to maintain momentum on the inside, so he'll cross over and try to get a run up the hill towards the short course rejoin. And he's got Paul Darling in his sights. He's just got to pounce and take the shot.
They might try to use some of the TCR and lap traffic up ahead as a pick.
Here he goes. That's the 55 going another lap down. Oh, bad setup for turn number 10. now setting up for the front straightaway. Bit too much curb on the inside. Throttling up, white flag in the air for Austin Cobb. One more time around. He's led every lap so far. Can he lead one more?
I definitely think he can, unless he catches traffic in the wrong spot and gets involved in an incident. But other than that, driven a pretty flawless race.
How about Chris DeShong, Jacob Price? Great battle down into turn one. Price takes a look inside for the first corner. Inches apart, side by side, they run off the course. Yeah, Chris DeShong drives through the dirt trying to get back on course.
Yeah, it's a drag race up through the S's. Mercedes versus Ferrari here. Lap traffic in the way.
Three wide. That was incredible. No, in the way.
Oh, that's incredible. Oh, no.
And DeShong doesn't quite make it off the course. And a car resetting is what takes out the 7.
Oh, what a shame. That's unfortunate. It was going to be a really good battle between them.
For second, still Darling and Barroso. 5/10 between them. White flag officially in TCR. Arroyan's got 7/10 of a second on Casera, and it hasn't really slowed down. We're not done yet.
Yeah, this is definitely not done yet. All these guys are well within drafting distance to each other, and they got a long straightaway coming up. Casera looks like that car hasn't hurt at all. And he's ready to make one last move.
Yeah, they've got one more full lap, but for Austin Cobb, he's got about a quarter of a lap left. Some TCR traffic in front, but it's not going to matter. Darling and Barroso, however, it's very much going to matter if they catch traffic.
Yeah, they got also another lap down Mercedes ahead of them as well. So this is going to be interesting here coming out of the final few corners with traffic to navigate, and Barroso trying to make a move.
Austin Cobb is going to come out of turn number 11. He'll take the checkers in race 1 here for the Grid Life iRacers touring car sprint. For second, Darling and Barroso, final corner. Drag race back to the checkers. There's all sorts of cars in front of him. Coming to the line. And looks like Darling's going to grab it. How about TCR?
Yeah, these guys are on the back half of the course, and it looks like Casera was able to take away the lead from Arroyan. Arroyan back in second place now, fighting with Carwile.
Yeah, so there must have been a...
Oh, I wonder if he got a slowdown.
Could have gotten an issue there. We're going to go back and check because the battle is over now. And what happened here? I wonder if it was climbing up the S's, perhaps. Oh, he just got passed straight up. It had a bad line going into the bus stop. And he was giving up some time.
Yeah.
But either way, he's been passed and coming back to the checkers last time in.
Oh, he's running out of fuel.
Oh, out of fuel. That's what it is.
That's why he let up. Yeah. That makes a lot more sense now. And he's just... Man, he's going to be kicking himself.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate discovery at the end here, but...
Well, Casera should have enough fuel that can make it just 2 more corners. See, another TCR on the back row running out as well. These guys could... I think these guys didn't account for an extra lap.
An extra lap, it's all they needed. And Casera comes on through, and he's going to pick up a victory with a beaten and battered TCR. Carwile comes home in second place. And Brad Adams in the 69. How about this? Pennington all over his rear bumper for third. Oh, big curb climb for Pennington.
Yeah, that took him way out of the line. He's not going to be able to catch Bradley Adams, who will finish in third. Pennington will take up 4th place. Looking behind him, looks like Danny Hagford in the 5 will take 5th.
Whew. All right, wow. So as they...
something like Ken now seal. His car's all turned up in around 20th place.
Yeah. Well, he was already kind of in the rear because of his early crash, but he must have gotten another one. So, let's take a look at your race results. Again, these are your overall results for the evening. And Austin Cobb took the win by 0.8 of a second. Got held up by traffic at the very end there, but it didn't matter. He led every lap from start to finish. Well done there.
Yeah, looking down the order, Chris DeShong finished in 21st after running in 4th. Was fighting for 4th place with, I believe, who was that he was waiting with? That was... I'm trying to remember. Scroll up. Price. It was Jacob Price he was fighting with, and unfortunately I ended up with him in the wall in the S's. And that's a horrible place to have a wrecked car sitting in the middle of the track, a blind section. And both those guys came out side by side, and nowhere for really either of them to go. Looks like Price picked the right line. He was able to make it through, but not so much for DeShong.
Yeah, again, overall results scrolling through. Brad Adams, 3rd place in TCR. How about 4th for Pennington? Kevin Zhu, 6th in the 17 car in TCR. Disappointments in this race. I'm sure Tom O'Gorman would have liked to have a better run in the GT3 machines. I don't know where he finished. Ended up in 22nd in class. Nick Johnston, same thing, 23rd. And of course, Mark Labance got in 58th overall. Jack Tranter didn't even start the race. So Jackson Robillard ended up crashed out. Bob Dice. Max Lupfer, I'm surprised that he wasn't a little bit higher up the order in TCR. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he ran into some more trouble. He finished a lap down to the leader, so that kind of signal tells me that he had a problem with his car. He was running up earlier, and I've raced with him. He's definitely quick. I would say as quick as Roy and guys that finished further up the order.
And we'll let these scroll on through one last time before we jump to break and bring you race number 2. Again, it'll be another 20-minute event. Also, keep in mind, I did notice, again, I mentioned this before the race started, that this is a new graphics package, so there are a couple things that aren't quite right, mostly relating to the multi-class ticker, not showing gap to the class leader, so I'm going to try to fix that before race 2. I'm not sure if I'll be able to, but I'll give it a try. And of course, the unofficial results should be sorted by class, but one thing at a time. This is trial by fire with a group of 60 drivers in a multi-class setting. This is putting my computer through its paces for sure. So this isn't real life. There is a limit to how much I can display on the monitor. So we'll let the rest of that scroll on through one last time. For race 2, though, I think we did, in terms of multi-class racing, I think we did a really good job. Not a whole lot of accents between TCR and GT3.
Yeah, I was going to say most of the actions seem to be pretty much within their own class, where drivers or just single car incidents, which is really nice to see. But yeah, everyone did a really solid job, honestly.
Also, I did see Miles Gilsinger here Gilsinger, who is a co-driver for the Hart Honda TCR.
Oh, okay.
So good to see him here. I believe that's right. Oh no, maybe it's Chad Gilsinger. I don't know. It's Miles or Chad. One of the two. Eric Catil can tell me later because he's the crew chief for that team. We'll be back in a couple minutes with race number 2. Stay put. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Watkins Glen, New York, and you're watching Sim TV for the Grid Life iRacers Touring Car Sprints. It's the second race of the night about to get underway here. 2 minutes left in the warm-up session. We saw 60 cars in race 1, Finney, and almost as many for race 2. But I was surprised, other than a couple cars here and there, it was mostly clean, especially between the multi-class interactions.
Yeah, when you consider that there was, 60 cars, that pretty much, a little bit less than that, I would say probably 55. A huge amount of cars that took the green. There was fairly few incidents, and for the most part, they seem to be relatively minor, only involving a few cars. No more than really 3, which is really good to see because obviously in these big races, you could expect to see, just one small pileup at the front. It causes a giant cascade effect throughout the field. But yeah, these guys kept it clean. I hope we see the same for race number 2.
So 20 minutes in race 1, we definitely saw all the TCRs get lapped at least once. We also saw the GT3 lead get down to it pretty close at the end. But let's head down to the racetrack. Tom O'Gorman, a driver that had some issues in race 1. I really do expect him to be up front this time. And DJ Alessandrini, one of the best drivers in the field, had significant damage for all of race 1. And he's actually switched cars for race 2. And already got damage on this car, so I'm not sure if race 2 is going to go any better. But
that's kind of funny. Can you imagine that? Like, actually, they're there for like a weekend. It's like, I don't want to switch cars.
And he's running Red Bull on it. Everybody knows DJ knows he's got a Red Bull in his hand anytime he needs it.
I mean, honestly, I love slipperies on race cars.
They look awesome. You know what? I hadn't even tried Red Bull until Grid Life Game Night. Yeah. It's like not terrible.
I want to try it too. I've kind of stayed away with that. I don't really drink that much.
It's not
energy
cheap
drinks,
but it's, it is what it is.
A lot of people were saying, complaining too speaking of Red Bull, for the F1 car that they've used the same scheme for the last few years and it's boring.
It's good looking.
I was saying it looks good, but I wouldn't change it.
I wouldn't either. Beautiful camera down here in turn 1. Thanks, Finian, for putting all the cameras around this racetrack. And we've got 14 seconds left in the warm-up before we head to green. And very excited to see how we grid up and get ready to go racing. Conditions for this race, about, what's that? 7 in the evening?
Yeah, about 7 o'clock.
Now the time seems right. So warm-up is complete. We'll head down to the racetrack. And Shelby Blackstock 4th in warm-up, so he's also got pretty good time getting made around here.
See, what is our order going to be? If I'm not mistaken, it should be the finishing order from race 1.
And it looks like that is the case. Looks like finishing order from race 1. That puts... we were just talking about Tom O'Gorman down in 26th in class.
It's going to be a rough night for him. I'd say same thing also too for Ken Seal. He's starting, I think, around 20th.
Yeah, so at the bottom of your screen, your starting grid will roll across. Again, that's the little hash mark supposed to be the starting position, but a little bit of a glitch.
See, I thought that was supposed to. I thought that was a design.
No. Function over form here, okay? But obviously, it doesn't function very well. So, also. Strangely enough, I think there was a bit of an issue because there are TCR cars. Oh boy. Yikes. Oh, this is going to get exciting. We got TCRs and GT3s intermingled. Oh, that's going to be a disaster.
I'm trying to figure out how on earth we ended up with this.
That is a really good question.
Right? Because if it went by the finishing order of the last race, even if it wasn't to grid by class, it would still have the TCR, most of them in the back, and most of the GT3s, at least 20 GT3s in the front. This is going to be wild.
This is going to be wild for sure, and I think DJ Alessandrini is probably face palming right now because he just spent an entire race with front end damage. He's probably going to have some after this one as well. So
he isn't that far back. I think he's only got a few TCRs in front of him. But yeah, I would. Needless to be said, I would rather not be starting the back.
Needless to say.
Needless
to say in past tense tonight.
But either way, I would not want to be starting in the back of this field.
Hey, we got Jackie Ding in the house. Jackie, you should be in this race. I don't know why you're not. So get in this.
There's no Supra.
Well, we'll race the NASCAR stuff. There's a Supra in there. But welcome, Jackie. So I actually talked to Jackie at Grid Life Game Night, and it was we had a good conversation. He and I are both, well, you and you two, we're all finishing up college, so we all have something to relate to there. But we're all not really fans of it. We just want to get out and do race car things.
Yeah.
So for this race again, let's roll through our conditions one last time. 70 in the air, 73 on the racetrack. Mostly cloudy skies. It's a beautiful evening here in Watkins Glen.
Just looking down the order, I can smell the carnage that awaits us in about 2 minutes' time.
Well, if you can survive the uphill, and if you can see the bus stop on lap 1, I think you've probably made it. The S's is really where everything funnels down. I mean, you take a look at the S's here at Watkins Glen. This is the widest point of them right here. After this camera shot, it funnels way down
to the narrowest
to the narrowest point, which I believe is 34 feet. 34 or 38, one of those two numbers. It's very, very narrow for how fast you're going through there, so that's going to be a challenge for sure. Now down into the boot section, and this is where it deviates from the NASCAR course. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen the heel of the boot where it rejoins to the NASCAR course, and that final turn was turn number 9. How off camber and flat that is. It's a corner that not a lot of people find very fun.
And right after that, in turns 10 and 11, we saw quite a bit of carnage on the opening lap with Keno Seal getting involved in the incident. I think he took another 2 or 3 cars with him after he made a mistake. But looking to see how these guys can recover after some of them having a poor race 1.
So climbing up the hill towards the heel of the boot this time, and all Mercedes up front, other than, well, okay. Front 3 are Mercedes, and then it gets real crazy. We've got an Audi RS3 TCR.
A good amount of them in the front, which not too surprising. I'd say the Mercedes is probably the best all-around car in the class, and I think it's probably a favorite amongst most iRacers.
There is, or at least there was, a McLaren. And
Gil Winningham.
Gil Winningham is the only and the lone McLaren here tonight with a gorgeous green, kind of candy apple green 81.
Kirby on the car, too.
And, oh, they've got another McLaren in here.
Hey!
Randy, nope, not Randy Bader. Charles Bolt, nope, who is that? Let's see who that other...
Is it Tizano?
Justin Tizano, yeah, in the number 29.
He's got a friend.
Cool. That's a great looking scheme, too. Already got some damage on the left side of that car from somewhere. But, time to go racing again. 20 minutes on the board for race number 2. Austin Cobb out front, Rob Casero right alongside him, Paul Darling, then Ryan Carwile in a TCR. This is going to get wild, everybody. Here we go. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Watkins Glen for race number 2 of the Grid Life iRacers Championship.
Oh, yeah,
okay. Smart idea.
Smart, yeah.
Calling it audible.
I was gonna say, I was like, oh, they're going really slow to start this race. Yeah.
All right.
So, to explain what's going on, basically, it looks like the Audis. They're actually.
No, I did that because it is a caution essentially.
So yeah, all the Audi TCRs are going to the back of the field, allowing the Mercedes to go to the front. It's a very smart decision.
Yeah, this is a great idea because this would have been absolutely chaotic if they did not do this. So I'm fully okay with giving up a couple minutes of this race, and I'm not sure if we're going to go green on the back straightaway or what the plan is.
And they might come all the way back around. We'll see.
I imagine they might just turn them loose on the back straight.
Well, I think the Audis have to get, the TCRs have to get formed up as well, so I don't know, we'll see.
They're still waiting for, yeah, that's probably going to have to wait until the next lap. I'm really proud of them for all communicating this and not having crashes while figuring this out, because this, you could not do this.
They're going.
Green flag, well, are we going?
Yep.
We're just going real fast.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think we're going.
I thought they were going because they went up to like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, no, we're going to probably reform.
Yeah, they're just hustling through
yeah,
the
they're just picking up some pace not to waste a lot of time here. But TCRs are formed, GT3s are formed. Again, you could not do this in a public lobby. This would not happen.
And again, to communicate amongst 50 guys to just kind of take it easy, form up, get double file. We're going to get racing here. It's going to be about a 15-minute race in the end, but I think, I think those 5 minutes definitely worth it for the carnage we could have had.
Yeah, I mean, giving up really what will be about 3 minutes of racing, I think everyone's going to be breathing a sigh of relief after we total a lot fewer cars than we would have. And very nice even stacking as well. Very nice rows. And Alessandrini gets to preserve the nose of that car, at least for another moment.
At least for a lap, hopefully.
So, can anyone stop Austin Cobb? He was the dominant car in race 1 of the night. We'll see if he can stay that way in race number 2. Some question marks out there for sure. DJ Alessandrini didn't have a full and complete car. Shelby Blackstock starting in 13th this time. Tom O'Gorman will be 22nd. We'll see if he can make up any ground and give these guys a run for their money. Let's try this again. Through turn number 10 and heading into turn number 11 is Austin Cobb in control of this race. Rob Casera on the outside, that green, white, and gray, 177. Now to the final turn. Now it's time to go racing. green flag flies finally at Watkins Glen. 17 minutes on the board for race number 2.
Three wide for a second there with one of the BMWs in the front with Morosa trying to make some moves and some three-wide action toward the back as well.
I got a couple cars making contact off to drivers left, but now TCRs making their way towards the front straightaway. Oh, this is going to get real dicey through the S's. Are we going to make it? 3 wide. This is going to get dicey. Houseil up the middle of it.
Yeah, Houseil in the middle as well as Chris DeShong. Both those guys.
Oh, no way.
There's
no
way they're
way.
making to the bus stop in one piece. Here we go.
No way. I will not believe it.
And they
did it. I cannot believe
side by side through the bus stop.
I cannot
fantastic job.
believe we did
Meanwhile,
that.
the TCR field, they're getting underway through the first few corners.
And so far, they've all made it as well. Very clean start by both categories. And we'll move our focus back forward. Luke McGrew and Alessandrini picking up their fight from last time.
And it looks like Alessandrini's going to rocket around the outside and take the spot.
Thundering torque out of these Mercedes. These things, they make the earth rotate the other direction. That's how strong these things are. And Colin McHugh in the number 4 under attack from behind. Contact. Matt Lemon going to go around off the bumper, I believe, of Tom O'Gorman, potentially. And he's sitting prone. He's going to get drilled in the background.
Got pummeled by someone in behind there.
O'Gorman's up to 13th after starting in 22nd. Cobb in control of this race still. Darling now second. Look, we've just essentially reorganized what we did in race number 1.
Yeah, because these guys picked up exactly where they were from race number 1, immediately breaking away from the rest of the field. That's Coutinho leading 4th on back, and then also Alessandrini.
Oh, car around in the background. Another car spun. And we're going to keep our focus on the cars that are in control, just so we keep focusing on the things that are mattering at the moment.
And also take a quick look back at the TCR field. They're coming out of the boot now.
Surprisingly tidy and orderly right now compared to the GT3 cars.
Yeah, it's Carwell, Adams, Hagford, Pennington, and Zhu, your top 5.
Yeah, Danny Hagford in the number 54. Climbing up the order early here and working over Brad Adams. That looks like something you'd see testing a video camera or something.
The scheme he has on is basically what guys use to figure out where the spots are on the template when they actually put a paint scheme on.
For the lead, though, Cobb in GT3. Darling all over him. This is a fight that was about to get really interesting at the end of race 1. They just didn't have time to finish it out. Let's do it all over again.
And they had a bit of traffic to work with now. For at least for the next few minutes, they've got clean air ahead of them and clean track. Darling getting out a little bit, having a little bit of a look on the 14.
On the brakes again. 2 Mercedes and a BMW with Bavarian Giant in behind. And throttling back up at the exit at turn 9. Bit of a grass excursion for second place Darling. Brad Adams charging through the bus stop has closed in on Carwile for the TCR lead.
Yeah, and I was trying to notice we were missing quite a few TCRs of note, especially Jeffrey Roy. He doesn't come back for race number 2.
Yeah, we have 54 cars in this field, or at least 54 cars that started the race. And Samuel Engelbert just hit pit lane in his TCR, so he looks like he'll be done for the night. Shelby Blackstock, how about Jeremy Swenson working over the LA Honda World driver? Wow, big slide back on course. And now racing up the S's.
Yeah, Swenson's trying to get out of the grass. Had to do it quickly and was able to do so, but very violent transition.
And Tom O'Gorman chasing behind. Maybe there's a little bit of a rivalry. Tom and Shelby are good friends on and off of the racetrack because they were co-drivers last year and had a 4th place run in the Michelin Pilot Challenge together in the LA Honda World Civic Type R TCR. But I think there's still a little bit of competitive edge.
Oh, someone just went flying off Rasmussen at the bus stop. I think I would imagine he's planted in the tire barriers. He went flying off. You can see the nose of the Audi R8 gone.
Yeah. Let's see what happened here. Rasmussen just entered.
Too hot, I think I got loose on the curves potentially.
Oh yeah, just got loose and
grass.
just gonna impale himself into the barriers there. So that was probably the end of the night for the 45 car. Back up front, top 3 still covered by a blanket. And now, how about Blackstock and Swenson and Luke McGrew all together?
Yeah, Blackstock trying to make a move on McGrew, couldn't get it done Swenson still behind as well as Tom O'Gorman, all Mercedes AMGs here.
And Blackstock up the inside for 6. McGrew right back on the bumper as Swenson tries to close
Oh,
behind.
there's Barroso around in his BMW, and he's going to drop down the order. I think he came sliding out of the corner, rejoining the track.
Yeah, he's pretty far along, though. I wonder if there might have been... Oh, maybe just got a little bit greedy on the edge of the curb here on track out. Here's another look at it.
I think
just got greedy. Yep, just spun out and then just reversed to get behind the wall cutout. And we'll drop down to about 15th in class, so a lot of work for him to do. DJ Alessandrini's up to 4th. How about Eric Catil now sitting on the podium as it stands?
Yeah, I imagine at the pace that Alessandrini is coming at him from behind. Alessandrini 0.3 of a second faster last lap through. I think Alessandrini might be able to get on by him.
So I know why Arroyan, I'm actually reloading the ticker so that his name will load, but Arroyan is actually in GT3, sitting in 9th right now. So that is why he is where he is. And his name still didn't load, unfortunately, but he is in the number 22, currently in 9th in class. Brad Adams and Carwile. How about top 4, all nose to tail here? Carwile, Hagford, Pennington, chasing Brad Adams, who's gotten the TCR lead away.
Yeah, these guys is top 4 all kind of in the fight for it. You can see there's a massive gap after 4th place on back.
Yeah, it's really just the top 4 that are in the fight. It's 5th place Miles Gilsinger in the 77 car, 8 seconds back. Then it's Zoo Lupfer following him right behind. I think that's
I have
Lupfer
a feeling something might have happened to have that much of a gap.
Yeah, so that's probably likely. So they continue their charge. Top 2 in GT3. I think this is where we're going to find your winner here tonight, Fanny. They've got such a big advantage, 6 seconds over Catil and Alessandrini.
Yeah, 7-second lead now over to Eric Catil, who these guys are coming through the final 2 corners now. But great day for Mercedes.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because I think they're holding, what, the top 8 or 9 spots. I'm not sure which car Jeffrey Roy is. It's 22. But definitely the top 8 are all Mercedes. DJ
closing in on Catil. Again, these drivers are competitors in Grid Life Touring Cup. Catil in his 92 Civic Si, Alessandrini in his 2006 Civic.
Yeah, here he comes now to the outside with a run, a little bit of slipstream to help him as well. And both these guys side by side heading towards the bus stop.
I see Tom O'Gorman getting really racy with Shelby Blackstock behind these two as well. So bus stop for Catil and Alessandrini, so DJ will get the spot. Now Tom O'Gorman right on the tail of his co-driver. Former co-driver.
So yeah, these guys fight it out amongst themselves. Usually they're sharing a car, well now they're fighting each other with one.
His best lap was his most recent one. Big dive up the inside for turn 6, and through goes Tomo to 5th.
I think he scared Shelby there.
Oh, he's off course.
He's going to get back on course. I think he scared Shelby out of that spot there. I don't think he was expecting to make a dive there, but Gorman was aggressive and got the spot up to 5th for him.
Sure got it. Luke McGrew sitting behind to see if he can repass Shelby Blackstock.
Yeah, and in behind them.
Oh, for the lead, though, quickly in GT3, getting by the tail end of the TCR field. Darling still all over Cobb. Maybe just being patient here, not pushing the issue.
Well, see, I mean, honestly, if I was him, I would just kind of wait till the last maybe 2 laps to try to do something and just kind of follow him on through, especially working through the TCR traffic.
I think getting through the front of the TCR field will be pretty easy, given that they're all line of stern, nose to tail, 1 through 4.
Well, it depends where they catch them. I think that's going to be the big part. If they catch them on the straightaway, it'll be easy. They're in the middle of, say, the boot. I think it's going to be a lot harder to do.
Miles Gilsinger and Max Lupfer side by side into turn 1. Lupfer is going to take the spot away with a bit of a slide down in the first corner in the 90. And through goes Lupfer into P5. Alex Barroso, after his spin, trying to recover.
Fairly lazy spin. Didn't really get a whole lot of damage to that car, but just lost a lot of track position. There's Jeffrey Royan in a 22 Audi R8.
Stephen Cugliari in the 44. Catil and Alessandrini. Catil's gotten the spot back from DJ somehow, some way. Maybe some traffic might have been. I see a little bit of damage on the nose of that Mercedes, so potentially a bit of argy-bargy for the Red Bull driver. Just a tap.
Yeah. Oh, he's damaged his car in both races now.
Well, previous, I think he'd take this over what he had last race any day. And Catil 8 seconds back from Paul Darling, who's still hounding. Wow, look at this. Yep. Still hounding.
Yeah, this was talking about. It really depends where you catch him. I caught him right in the middle of the boot, and looks like they're going to get get by him and now have a clean track to work with. So now Darling has a lot more options.
Yeah, both your class leaders, Adams and Cobb, visible on that previous shot. And TCR, we haven't seen a whole lot of passing going on in that category so far this race. They've been pretty orderly so far, but 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think for a lot of time, too, I think they kind of have to stay single file because they got so many GTs working around them. Especially when the meat of the field gets up to them as well.
So Tom O'Gorman he started 22nd in class. He's up to 5th now, which is an incredible drive forward, and he's closing in on DJ Alessandrini. Last time by, DJ ran a 1:45.1 to Tomo's 1:44.9. Now we'll see if DJ gets back on a 46.0 to Tomo's 44.6. So Tom's still closing quickly. And you can see the group in front of him. Eric and DJ working through traffic as they climb the S's again. And now they work their way through some of the TCR field.
Yeah, as of the TCR leaders, if they're working through that lead pack of 4 drivers, and well, there you go, 3 wide for a second.
We're going to keep an eye on this pass first, and then we're going to jump back to watch the battle for the lead. Carwile's got it, and here comes Tom O'Gorman on the outside. In the middle, big slide. Can he save it? No.
No, he doesn't. Oh. Backs into a little hard, I think, trying to stay out of the line.
Yeah, that was a gutsy move to try to slide in there. He's going to get back rolling because he can still salvage a top 10 easily here. Let's just go back and... Oh, Blackstock has also spun out up the road. Oh, looks like he'll call it a day. But let's go back quickly and see from Tom's perspective. He tried to slide into this gap between 2 TCRs. And he had to do it.
Whoa.
He drove in way hard, bit on the curb, and just bounced too much.
Yeah, he just got the curb though.
And then got hit.
Oh, and got hit again.
Paul Darling has gone to the lead.
Yeah, he's taking it, I think, in the boot away from Austin Cobb. We'll take a quick look to see where that pass happened.
Yeah, this is down into the heel of the boot, and Darling got to the inside and just outbraked fellow driver Austin Cobb. And for the first time tonight, somebody other than Cobb will lead in the GT3 category.
And across the line to make it official. Now it's going to be Cobb that has to take away the lead back from Darling with 5 minutes remaining.
5 minutes to go, and Carwile is 6 seconds up the road from Bradley Adams because of all the carnage and chaos they had to deal with Tomo kind of slipping between those cars.
Still not done. Here comes Tom yet again.
Yeah, he's going to have to come back right through the field again. Big tight there with the 31 of Pennington. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. Now Tom has to work his way through TCR field all over again.
Pretty much got through them. He just got, I think, Carwell up ahead and just left to work through, as well as trying to get to Pugliari, who's 4 seconds ahead.
Not sure IMSA would approve of those track limits down there in turn 1, but we'll take it and run with it. So Cobb has actually fallen 4/10 back from Paul Darling now, not able to keep pace, quite keep pace. Darling was all over Cobb for several laps, and look at the big dive into the toe now, trying to make up some of that group, or some of that gap rather.
I think Cobb's going to have to come up with something. This is kind of a bit new territory for him tonight. He's just been up there dominating in the front. Now he's kind of find himself in a disadvantageous position.
He's still there, though. He's a little bit better through the first part of the boot. Now, the question is he better on the first part of the full course, down in turn 1 and up through the S's? Because that's really where you make a lot of your speed around this course, is through turn 1 all the way up to the bus stop.
Yeah, I think he is a little bit better in that section. Then Darling kind of comes alive in the boot through the final sector as well.
Yeah, no close battles right now in TCR, other than for 9th place in class. This is Mitchell Townsend and Brandon Burke. And this is the closest battle in TCR. The lead is separated by 6.7 seconds, and it's 1 back to 3rd, Eric Pennington.
We're trying to have a move down on Townsend into the bus stop.
Well, it looks like Townsend might have just lost connection. Oh, he's back. And Burke's going to try to throttle back up to get back around on the outside. Way out wide. He's going to lose some of the banking up there on the apron and have to set that pass up again. Justin Tizano in the 29 McLaren has had an issue. But for the lead into the bus stop on the outside, Cobb races Paul Darling into the loop.
That might have just been him testing the waters.
Well,
as to what he's going to be, what he can do.
So heavily setup dependent, how much curb you can take through there. We saw Tom's car get so upset in the same car as Austin Cobb, but how much more compliance does Cobb have built into this car to be able to jump that curb as aggressively as he just did?
Well, coming back next time, I think should be the white flag.
It's going to be close. It should be. I don't even know if it'll be that close. We should get it. And how about Colin McHugh, Ito Waxman side by side into the bus stop? This is for 12th spot.
Looks like Waxman's gonna give it up.
And Rob Casera all over Charles Boley. This is for 14th. He turns him. Slip and slide. Going to try to straighten him back out, and they'll continue to race. Classy move. Second place TCR, Adams and Pennington.
And Adams just kind of holding off for second. I don't think he can really catch Carlisle at this rate. He's 5 seconds behind, but Pennington right in behind him, trying to get that spot.
Let's check in where our leaders are as they come onto the front straightaway. This will be our last lap.
Yeah, and Cobb messed up the last sector big time. He's dropped back over a second.
Yeah, big loss for him. And Rob Casera has just spun out down in the toe of the boot. And I'm going to imagine there might have been...
I don't see anyone near him. I think he just made a mistake here. I think it's
in too hot.
Yep.
Wiggled and wobbled. Oh, tire barrier dead on. So for the leaders, it'll be our final lap, and Austin Cobb has dropped a 1.5 seconds back. Darling still has some traffic to negotiate, though, so I don't think we're done yet.
Yeah, I don't think we were quite done yet either. We saw Gorman trying to make a pass on some Audi TCRs and got caught up in an incident with himself, but imagine Darling's going to take this relatively easy. He has like a little bit of a gap.
Whoa, that's pushing it. If you're on that curb at the track out of the carousel, you're really on the edge of it there. And you're going to have to go around the outside now to the inside of, I believe, is Brennan Burke in the number 6 TCR. Luke McGrew, Jeremy Swenson, 0.6 seconds between these two. And while they do battle in time attack on the weekends in the summer and the winter, on the weekdays they do battle in iRacing. And here their cars are identical.
Yeah, I was going to say it's funny too because you have an all black car and an all white car as well.
And Swenson's running an all red car like his Corvette. And Swenson's closed quite a bit, 0.3 back. But up front, Paul Darling was hounding Austin Cobb all of race number 1. And then race number 2 was able to make the pass in the heel of the boot. Late brakes got the job done. Paul Darling from second in race 1 to winner in race number 2. He'll go to victory lane at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, solid drive out of him. Able to muscle his way past 14 Austin Cobb, back in behind, battle for 5th place between McGrew and Swenson. Swenson's got to time this perfectly.
Final corner, Swenson deep into 11. Throttles back up. Too little, too late. McGrew's going to get the top 5 spot. Swenson in 6th. Barroso rebounds for 7th after his spin at track out of the boot.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be a little bit disappointed with that. Could have gotten a win potentially here. Tom O'Gorman's going to come across the line in 10th.
10th, all things considered, not a bad race. Remember, he started 22nd in class. Ooh, sun, golden sun setting beyond the grandstands here. Charles Boley, Nick Nelson, this is for 14th.
Yeah, it should be Boley that will be able to get to the line back first.
Jeremy Lucas and Bob Casera. This is a battle for position. The Mercedes, the 38, Casera. Bit of a rub with one of those TCR cars, and that was Hagford in the 54. Got used up a little bit.
Speaking of TCRs, Ryan Carville should be coming out of the final turn now and heading to the line, and he will win in race number 2 for the TCR class.
He'll get it done. Pennington in 2nd. Got GT3s to his inside. And Pennington will come home in 2nd. Brad Adams will take a podium here in race number 2.
I think we're about to settle for 4th place, and in behind, whoa, contact in the back with Lupfer.
Gonna come across the line in 5th place.
Don't need the car anymore, I guess.
Whew. I'm thoroughly worn out after that. Here's a look at your race results. Paul Darling got it done. Alessandrini 3rd place this time. Still not the pace that, I mean, again, 3rd place is not bad in a field of 40 GT3s. But I would have expected to see him competing for the win with Paul Darling, but 3rd place is all it's going to be for Alessandrini tonight. And Barroso rebounded for 7th. Luke McGrew in 5th. Eric Catil. We're going to talk to Eric Catil. We haven't talked to him in a long time here on iRacing. Jeff Arroyan, how about 11th?
Yeah,
in GT3 after not having any practice.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he had any practice unless he practiced for the GT and he might have done like an accidental click. He might have picked. Well, actually, you know that could be because he wasn't an Audi R8.
the funny thing is his accidental click still got him almost a top 10 in a 40-car field, so I'll take that as a victory. And again, Samuel Engelbert in the number 9 had an early end in his TCR. But all in all, a very, very exciting night of racing. Some great battles all throughout the field. We're going to talk to a couple of your race winners, so don't go anywhere if you want to hear from them. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Stay with us. Welcome back live to Sim TV and the conclusion of the Grid Life iRacers Touring Car Championship. This was the first round. We're here now with Ryan Carwile, who won race number 2 by a couple seconds over Eric Pennington. Ryan, a bit of chaos at the start, had to reorganize everybody, but you went out front and went and got the lead and just drove away at the end there. Just walk us through your night and negotiating GT3 traffic.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy with the GT3s. I got split a few times, but yeah, the start was pretty crazy. Brad and I got to battling pretty hard. Unfortunately, I think when I was passing him into the bus stop, I had to come to a stop, not to stop, but to slow down a lot, and I think that got me my lead. So kind of feel bad about it, but you got to take the win.
The TCR here at Watkins Glen, it's a lot of on-throttle time, but how much did you have to concern yourself with warming up the tires before it was really in good racing shape? Was it 2 or 3 laps, or was it just by the end of lap 1 that it was pretty much in prime condition for racing?
Yeah, I think 1 lap it's pretty good, but yeah, it's 2 to 3 before it's fully good to go. Got all the grip.
All right, Ryan Carwile won TCR race number 2. Ryan, congratulations. You're going to have a pretty good run at the Points Championship here, so we wish you good luck next week. And thanks for talking. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next driver. It'll be second. Let's see who we want to talk to next. It'll probably be Paul Darling. If I can get a hold of Paul. Well, this is a peculiar issue.
You want to see if you could join their channel? Yeah.
Hey, Paul. I'm having trouble moving people around, so if you don't mind, we could do the interview here. Be pretty convenient.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you won race number 2. You were hounding Austin Cobb for all of race 1, but you got it done down in the heel of the boot. Walk us through your battle in race 1 and then chasing and passing Austin in race number 2.
In race 1, I had a really good fight with Alex Barroso. Actually, once I got ahead of Alex, I was 2 seconds behind Austin. I just couldn't make up the time. Austin did a great job through traffic, and we were pretty together on pace there. Second race, I was just trying to stay right on Austin's tail the whole way. As soon as I got a run, I was just trying to get him offline and try and use him being offline to turn to an advantage for me with a late apex somewhere, and was able to make it stick going into the heel of the boot there.
How was the multi-class interaction between the GT3s and the TCR? Because it seemed like these cars were a pretty good match. It wasn't too slow or too fast one way or the other. But did you feel that way going through the pack, or do you think that this perhaps isn't the best multi-class selection?
I think you can make multi-class work with almost any car combination. It's really the people involved, I think. From what I could tell, me and Austin had a great run through the TCR field. We didn't have any issues, but I don't know how the mid-pack Larrys fared.
It was fun to watch you win race number 2, Paul, but we want to talk to Austin now. So Austin, you got a copy?
I got you.
Hey man, well, you won race number 1. You had Paul breathing down your neck. You ended up winning race 1, but losing race 2. What did you learn after Paul got by in race number 2 that you could apply to not lose that position if you went into this again?
Honestly, I mean, I was running a pretty hot pace. He had me offline on the first lap when he caught back up to me. And it kind of shook me up a little bit because he was hanging right in there. But then I turned on the jets. I think I turned the fast lap of the race, and he was right there with me. So honestly, I don't know what I could really do better. He was just the better driver in that race, and it was a pleasure racing against him. It was very clean. We ripped through the TCR field cleanly, and it was a good time.
Austin, congratulations. A really strong run for you in race 1 and race 2. First and a second, not a bad night for you as well as you, Paul. So thanks for talking to us, guys. We'll see you next week for the next round.
Awesome. See you then.
See you later. So that'll do it for our interviews tonight, Finney and I. We couldn't get a hold of Robert Casera to talk to him, but at least I don't think we could. We'll see if he's around.
Bob Casera?
Not the same guy.
No, I know. I'm just saying that.
Oh. So I did want to talk to you about the multi-class race, and I thought we had a spectacular race through and through race 1 and 2. And I love that they took the time to reorganize for race 2 because that could have been a whole lot more chaotic if they didn't take the time.
Yeah, I think it would have been pretty much a disaster if they decided to go green as is. Still curious to hear the story about how on earth that ended up like that, but. Yeah, these guys did a great job just getting themselves sorted out. Cost 3 minutes of racing, but I think absolutely worth it. These guys did a really solid job for having 60 guys on the field. Relatively low amount of incidents, if anything. Just obviously, your little bit of single car incidents, just overdriving, making mistakes here and there. But yeah, there's almost no, I guess, really multi-class incidents. I think other than at the end of
few multi-class incidents,
which is really good, especially with the car difference like this.
So that's going to do it for us this week here on Sim TV. Make sure you join us next week because it's about to get wild. We did Watkins Glen this week, a relatively wide, fast course. Well, how about a narrow, fast course? Climbing up and down a mountain. Bathurst next week, Mount Panorama Circuit in Australia. No kangaroos to dodge, but certainly some mid-pack Larrys you got to watch out for.
Yeah, I'm sad I won't be missing that race. That'll be a really fun race to watch.
Yeah, so next week and at Mossport and the Nürburgring, which are our last, the Grand Prix circuit at the Nürburgring. The next 3 races are going to be co-commentated by Larry McLeod. So it'll be myself and Larry in the booth, and Finn will be off taking care of one of our other series that runs on Tuesday night. So make sure you jump over there in between races to say hi. That's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.